Finance Committee meeting, and I call this meeting to order at exactly 7:16 p.m. (1.2) Public comment.
Yes, we have two public comments regarding this committee agenda, regarding agenda item number 2.8 and agenda item 2.9. I'll begin with agenda item 2.8. It was submitted by Ms. Rosalinda G. Garcia. Agenda item number 2.8 and it reads as follows. 2.9. I'll begin with agenda item 2.8. It was submitted by Ms. Rosalinda G. Garcia. Agenda item number 2.8 and agenda item. You might want to mute it. Mute your. Okay. On agenda item 2.8, review and discussion of proposals RFP 1019 GMS, which is general merchandise and service. I make reference to list of proposals received with proper documents. The list has 7 vendors. In the content of the rationale for requesting for proposals, the rationale reads that SBCISD schools and departments purchase from local and area vendors. Let me repeat, purchase from local and area vendors. So for the district to be in compliance with local and state rules due to the amount of purchases, the district purchases from local vendors, the district solicited bids. When I review the list of vendors submitting proposals, I only see one company from the Rio Grande Valley, which is Simply Payless from Mission, Texas, whom actually has his warehouse in Laredo, Texas. My question is, what happened to all the local vendors that the district was ordering merchandise from? Why did they not submit proposals? Or did they submit but lacked proper documents? I understand that the district might not be in the position to assist local vendors with an orientation on submitting proposals, or maybe district does. I would like to see that we support our local vendors, yet still award to what is in the best interest of the district. Does the district, or could the district, contact local vendors that lacked proper documents for future submissions? And that public comment pertained to agenda item 2.8. The next public comment pertains to agenda item 2.9, the desk toppers agenda item, and it is submitted by Ms. Mary Maney, and it reads as follows. I realize that this is also being addressed in the special meeting 2.1, so I will cover my concerns here in one location, and you can repeat it if needed in the special meeting. Desk toppers are going to be a necessity in the upcoming year, so it is good that you are being proactive. Part A, here are some questions that I have about getting the desk toppers. Are they going to be for all classrooms at all grade levels? How will this affect the wearing of masks in school? Using these shields, how many students are you allowing in a classroom? Part B, here is the problems that I see if you go with the ones from Ferguson that are recommended in the special meeting notes. Please note the ones recommended in the finance agenda are Gulf Coast, which have a view panel in the middle. The Ferguson trifolds are opaque. Teachers cannot see the students, and students cannot see the teacher. Anything being done on the board or as a demonstration by the teacher is not going to be seen by the students unless it is being remotely viewed in the class. Ferguson is listed as having 2 sizes, but no measurements are given to determine which one would work in the classroom, since not all classes have the same size desks. I appreciate your time and consideration of my comments. I hope that you can address some of my concerns in your discussion of the above items. As always, I do appreciate the fact that you taking a proactive stance on the safety of both students and staff. Thank you again. And that concludes the public comments for the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. I want to thank both public comments. Thank you all so much. Let's move on to agenda item 2.1, the review and discussion to add additional brokers/dealers to the SBCISD investment portfolio. Ms. Rendon. SBCISD investment portfolio. Ms. Rendon.
Yes, this item 2.1 is, we do this annually, and this is the review of the investment policy.
SBCISD investment portfolio. Ms. Rendon.
Yes, this item 2.1 is, we do this annually, and this is the review of the investment policy.
SBCISD investment portfolio. Ms. Rendon.
Yes, this item 2.1 is, we do this annually, and this
So I think maybe he has Facebook Live on to watch the, or hear the meeting. And then your speaker on, it's going to play it back through. We need to make sure we close Facebook Live while you're on the Zoom.
Okay, Mr. Rondon, thank you so much. Agenda item?
Okay, let's try this again.
Ma'am, you're on mute.
Can y'all hear me?
There we go. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, we're good.
okay. 2.1 or 2.2?
Ma'am, you're on mute. No, we're good with we're good with 2.1, ma'am.
Okay,
We went on to
okay.
2.2.
2.1 or 2.2?
Okay, 2.2, review and discussion of the resolution approving independent sources for investment training and designation of investment officers. Ms. Rondon?
Yeah, this item, sir, is just to name the investment officers, which is in the business office. Like I said, it's an annual review of who the investment officers in regards to investing the school district's money.
Thank you, ma'am. Agenda item, guys? Okay, 2.4, review and discussion of the purchase of the Dell EMC backup solution. Ms. Rondon? Where is?
This is a backup server that we're requesting, and it was placed in the budget. This is not in addition to, this is replacing a solution that we're having, so we're going with a more robust backup solution, technology-wise.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, let's move on to agenda item 2.5, review and discussion of the option to extend the contract with copy paper. Ms. Rondon?
This is an extension of an RFP for copy paper. We're extending it for the same vendors for an additional year. So it's just an extension, copier paper.
Agenda item?
Agenda item.
Okay, thank you.
Two point six.
2.6 is a review and discussion for the lease agreement between San Mateo CISD and Pitney Bowes, which is our mail system. This is just a contract that we have for our mail outs.
Okay, ma'am. Agenda item?
Agenda
We have to go
item.
back. We have to go back to revisit 2.3, please.
Yes.
Okay, 2.3, review and discussion of the resolution approving annual review of the investment policy and investment strategies. Ms. Rondon, sorry about that.
Yes, sir. This is this is our board policy, legal and local. And this is also an annual procedure that we do, that the board understands that this is how we invest, what we can do and not do with our funds.
Oh,
Thank you, ma'am. Agenda item?
agenda item.
All right, let's go back. Let's go to agenda item 2.7, review and discussion of the option to extend the contract on RFP-0719-AIPM awards, incentives, and printed material. Ms. Rondon?
This is an extension of a rolling bid that we have we extended, and this is so that we can place local vendors or vendors that are not in a co-op that want to do business with San Benito. We place them on, we bring it to you either every quarterly or every 3 months or when we get a lot of interest. We invite them, we look out for them. There is a proper forms and certifications that need to be turned in. We do help them along with filling out those paperworks, and we do an invitation. So this item, like I said, it's a rolling one. So we, as we get more interest, we'll bring it to the board to add those vendors, to do business with them. This is outside of the co-ops that we belong to.
Thank you.
Mr.
Agenda item?
Lopez? Mr.
Yes,
Lopez?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Did we miss 2.4?
No, ma'am.
We didn't?
No,
I don't know where I was when you all read that. Sorry.
it's okay. Let's go on to 2.8, review and discussion of proposals for the RFP-1019-GMS for the general merchandise and service supplement list. Ms. Rendon?
Very similar to the previous one, sir. This is to award general merchandise and supplement list proposals so that we can acquire local vendors that wish to do business with the district. There might seem that they're small, but it's because we have throughout the year additional vendors. So we bring them to the board to add additional vendors. So it's not just those that you see in your packet. It's an extensive list, but we call it a rolling bid because we're continuously adding them to it.
Ms. Rendon, can you provide a list of all the vendors that are included in our district? That way we can have an idea if we're covering our San Benito the way that we're supposed to.
Like I said, we invite them, we do mail outs, we deliver to them, we help them with any the paperwork that's necessary.
Absolutely.
And but we'll get you a complete list. And the thing that they come due at different times of the year. That way, we only bring the ones that are lapsed within a year.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Does it have a like an expiration date for them?
Yes. When we go out. When
Include that on the list if you don't mind.
Sure thing, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Rendon, real quick, before we move on to the next agenda item, on this, for these proposals and for the supplement list, is there a list online, like on a, I guess on a PDF format or something where they can go in there and find out when their expiration date, instead of just copying papers and sending it to everybody? Can they just go online and find out on the list of vendors?
Check with you. I know that we do send out individual letters the day after the board meeting when they were approved to let them. But I will check to see if we have that online, or if there's no problem compiling one.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot easier, ma'am. So our constituents that are concerned, so they can get, so they can get their information. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Agenda item. Thank you.
Agenda item.
Okay. 2.9, review and discussion of the desk toppers for students, district wide. Is it done?
Well, can I interject real quick and share my screen?
Okay.
And then we can have a discussion, I think, about two. So here is the tabulation. You can see the two lower bids there. Ferguson for $2,200, that would be basically elementary. $2,200, that would be secondary. $123,200. The next lowest bid is Gulf Coast Paper. $158,400 for $4,400, and those are half and half for elementary, half for secondary. But the difference, and I think Ms. Mady pointed out in her public comment, if I can change, this is the Ferguson trifold. It is less money. As you can see on this front panel, it is opaque. You cannot see directly through it. You would have difficulty looking on a blackboard or a whiteboard, or seeing what's projected up in front of them. The sides, that's probably good anyhow, so they don't look at their neighbors, see what's going on over here. But the front is the concern. The product from Gulf Coast. I have too many tabs open. Looks like this. So on the sides, it's still gonna be opaque, which is fine. Again, you don't need to be seeing what's going on left or right of you. But the front of these would allow the student to see through. So looking at prices, please understand, we try to watch the pennies very closely. You heard it earlier in our bond discussion, but the lowest price is Ferguson. But is it as useful as the one from Gulf Coast? I was teaching a class, I'd want them to be able to see what I was doing. So I'll leave that to the board to decide.
Well, Dr. Kramer, just because it's cheaper is not always better, and we all know that. So I want to once again, thanks for the presentation there. But I mean, I'm just speaking for myself, but I think it's a no-brainer because I want the teachers to see what my kid is doing behind there. Make sure he's not asleep. But
I know.
I want to ask a question. I have
Yes,
a
ma'am.
question. Okay, on these, what are they called now?
Partitions?
Signed little partition binders. It's going to be one for every child in every desk, on every desk, right?
So what we're proposing right now is to order 4,400 of them. By the time that we have to start live instruction, and again, I think that's a moving target, and we'll continue that discussion. I think it'll be much later. But when we do eventually start with live instruction, I think it's going to be less than 20% of our kids. So we're talking probably less than 2,000. And then as those numbers start to grow, we can certainly order more of these until we get to the point, hopefully, where we no longer need them and all of our kids are back in school like we'd like them to be. So we're not going to order 10,000 at this point because I think it's going to be a long time before we see 10,000 kids in our buildings live.
My next question is, what are we going to do to keep these partitions clean and germ-free? It's going to be a lot of work, I know, for the custodians to do this. That's their job, but really, how are we going to keep the kids from touching it or sneezing into them? Of course, that's the whole purpose, to prevent that from going through to the other person. How are we going to clean that? How is it going to be once daily, or how is it going to happen?
Yes, ma'am. Once daily.
Am I asking the right question or not?
Yes, once daily. But remember, if student Orlando Lopez has a desk divider, it's his. So there's not going to be some other students sitting behind it sneezing. It's just going to be him. So the only thing he's going to come in contact with are his own germs. But yes, ma'am, we would clean them daily.
Okay.
Hey, Dr. Carmen, so Mike, I'm sorry, Mr. Mendez, but
Go ahead.
so I guess my concern is, Doc, so let's say, for example, you're predicting, let's say we're ordering 4,000 right now, but let's say, things turn around here pretty quick and we need more. What's the turnaround time so you can order these units and make sure that all our kids have them? I mean, the kids that actually, you know what I'm saying? Like, how long would it take you to get them and assemble them?
Right. So these open right up. They come in 4 to 6 weeks. And so as we start to see numbers grow, if we need to order more, we would have to be on top of it. But again, I don't think we're going to have live students for a while. I think this will last us for quite some time.
Well, you know how with everything else, and again, we can't predict. Once something is out there, everybody wants it. What's the possibility that we won't get our share of amount for our school district? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud.
Or like have like a backup plan?
Yeah.
So each of the stores we spoke with has these in their warehouse. That's why they gave us the timeline. They could ship them to us. They know how many are being produced, how many are being ordered. Granted, if we wait a month and everybody's rushing to try and get theirs to start a school,
Right.
it might be very difficult. So that's why we want to get them in, get them ordered now, so them well before the kids show up.
Okay. Another
Order them
question I
now.
would like to ask.
Order them
Another
now.
question. Once we have them, and I hope to God, our Lord, that the pandemic is gone and everything is fine. What do we do with these things, these dividers after that? Can they still be utilized in the classroom?
I mean, you could use them for like test taking. So the students are just focusing on their area in front of
Okay.
them. By the time this pandemic breaks, people may be real sick of them though. So I don't know if they'll want to use them, but they could be used for taking tests. There are similar trifolds people use on their desks when they take STAR, for example. These could be utilized in that fashion.
Well, if it's going to help our kids, sure, why not? I think it's a great idea. Great idea.
Dr. Carmen, I've seen some that were actually clear all the way around. And I'm looking at it from the perspective, let's assume instruction's happening and whatnot. Those blinders on the side, that's probably going to be difficult for the teachers as they're doing their walk through observations or whatnot,
The kids are working.
while the kids are working, exactly. Do we have anything, is there anything out there in the market that has like a clear all the way around? Like a plexiglass or something like that?
There were some plexiglass. In fact, those two higher bids may have been that plexiglass, but that's why they're so much higher, I think.
What was the difference on it? If you don't mind, I don't have the, well, maybe I do.
I do.
But if they're not gonna be used that much, like Dr. Carmen was saying, you know, maybe it's gonna be temporarily. So I would say the ones with a clear that has the two coverings on the side, I think those would be better.
Right, I think Ms. Weaver, you have a good point. I mean, we have to be physically responsible, but also give the teachers and the kids, the materials they need so they can succeed in the classroom. I totally agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gonna have them fooling around.
Mhm.
And they're very handy. I mean, we use them a lot, especially for testing. So
Right,
they're not
right.
gonna go to waste. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that right?
Mhm. I used those a lot when I was teaching.
Oh, I didn't even know they existed.
Yes, I used them a lot for doing test taking.
So Mr. Mendez, I would verify and look at the samples we were sent or the pictures we were sent. I am fairly certain that this $482,000 bid
No.
had the plexiglass. Can't recall if the 268 did or not. That's still $110,000 difference. So
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Well, teachers can monitor.
I think we'll meet you in the middle, Doc, and we'll just go with B.
Yes,
Coach.
I like that one. Yes, me too. Yes.
Agenda item? Call
Yes.
closed?
Agenda item.
Thank you all. Okay, let's move on to committee concerns. Any committee concerns?
Okay, I know that right now we're talking about the safety of our students and everything, and I just found out that Raymondville had installed a system in their air conditioners so that it wouldn't infect the people. Now they're saying that it's going through the airborne now, through ACs and everything. Is there any way that we can look into it and have that installed, on our campuses also?
Prevent.
To prevent, yes. That way it's gonna purify. It's still gonna be useful forever, but especially for right now that, it's going to be our concern anyway. We're going to be going, we're not going to do the in school yet. So that'll be enough time to get everything, in place and everything before if the kids go back to the campuses.
That's a good point, Ms. Weaver. I think that's what Honeywell does, right, Doc?
they do. So they will evaluate, but also Chris Cole has been investigating the fresh air setting that are being recommended by CDC. And he started looking into, I think they're ultraviolet lights that are supposed to kill the virus before they can spread through the vent system. So he's already started that. But bringing somebody like Honeywell on, I mean, they specialize in HVAC, so they ought to be able to give us some really good insight. So that's a really good question.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Weaver.
Yes, sir.
Any more concerns, guys? No? Okay. I adjourn this meeting at exactly 7:40. Thank you.